Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try to answer the question of if you've got a bunch of power tools from different companies, is there a way to have a battery system where you don't have to have Milwaukee batteries, DeWalt batteries, Black & Decker batteries, Craftsman batteries? Can you just have one battery and adapt it to meet all of those? So that's what we're going to do in this video, and I thought it might be interesting to you because looking at my demographics, you're probably male and you're probably middle-aged, you're getting close to middle-aged. So I wonder if you're like me and you do a lot of DIY stuff. And I know this is kind of coming out of the blue, but you know, when you hit about 5,000 subs on YouTube, you start to get a lot of offers for just various things, like daily offers. Some of it is related to what you usually do on your channel. In my case, it'd be audio, headphone stuff. And some of it is not, and that's where this one came from. So this company, CEENR, I think, it's CEENR, they make batteries, and they have kind of this interesting adaptive battery kit that when they emailed me about it, I thought it was something I could actually use. So I told them I'd try it out and I would make a video about it. So that's this video. So they sent me this stuff for free, but they're not otherwise paying for the video, so it will be an honest review of their products. So let's dive into this system, and they sent me another battery too, and we'll kind of just talk about how it worked for me and ultimately whether I think it's worth your while. Okay, so we're going to try a little bit different perspective here with my action cam, just because it gives me hands. That makes it a little bit easier. Now, you're going to see I mostly have Black & Decker tools. Like I said, I'm a DIY guy, so I don't spend big bucks on tools. I just use these tools for just basic things around the house. You'll notice I do have a Craftsman trim router though, just because it seemed like a good model. And then I bought a little battery adapter so I can use Black & Decker batteries with it. So I don't really need an adaptive battery kit, but I can see the need for one. And that's what we're going to talk about. So really this is what we're talking about here. And this is a 18 or 20 volt battery pack. This is a 4 amp hour battery pack. And then what they have is the option to have these different adapters here. And basically it's just as simple as sliding that adapter on there. And then now this is a Black & Decker battery. But you could buy as many of these adapters as you want. So you could potentially just have a whole fleet of these bricks of batteries, right? And you can just swap out the tops. So it's a really interesting idea. And you know, if you're like me, you kind of hate this proprietary stuff where you get locked into a system and then another tool comes out and one's better than another brand, but you already have the other brand, so you get locked into their system. Otherwise you end up with a ton of different batteries or adapters. Now, CEENR, they also sent me this 8 amp hour 20 volt battery that is specifically for Black & Decker, so I'll talk to you about my experience with that as well. Now, what's cool, the other thing that's really cool about this pack is not only is it adaptable, but it's also a power bank. So you charge it through USB-C. This is just a regular USB-C charger. And then you can go ahead and stick the USB in, and you can hit this red button here. And then I can plug my iPhone into this bad boy. And you can see now my iPhone is charging. So not only are these power tool batteries, but they can also serve as portable chargers, which again, I think is just another interesting adaptive use. You can see that as it's charging here, it's got lights on there so I know how much juice I've got. And then on the same token there, if I take my phone off and we plug it in over here, then these lights will light up and it will show you as it's charging, you know, how much is in the battery there. So all that works really, really well. There's also a USB-A port there if you need to, you know, use an older cable or whatever to adapt to a different device. So that's all well and good. So how did these batteries work? Now this other one here, this is just a regular battery, and it doesn't have any of those other features. This is just like one of their batteries they make. And So for this guy, it just uses the regular Black & Decker charger like anything else. The one issue that I have, and I don't particularly like about the adaptive system, is you have to use USB-C to charge. So you'll see, this is charging correctly, green light flashing. But if I try to charge this guy with this, it's flashing right now, but I didn't always have success with that. So it's like sometimes this charger will charge it, the regular Black & Decker, but a lot of the times I was just getting a red light and it wouldn't charge. So I don't think you can really rely on that to charge it, which I think is unfortunate. But it did always charge with USB-C just fine. So that would just be one little niggle with this. And then so just so you can see it, right? Like the other cool thing that I liked about this was it's just bigger, right? 4 amp hours, 8 amp hours. So there's my Black & Decker drill, works. Here's my impact. It worked on every single thing that I tried it with. So even the bigger batter tools like the weed eater and the chainsaw here, everything that I plugged these batteries into, I never had any problem with any of them working with the battery. So it seems to work as advertised. And the nice thing about having 4 amp hours is all this Black & Decker stuff, with the exception of the chainsaw, only comes with 2 or 1.5 amp hour batteries, which those go really, really quickly. So having something like a 4 amp hour or the 8 amp hour here was just really nice, in that I could put these on the tools and I could use them for long periods of time, and I didn't have to really worry about the battery dying, especially with some of these larger items. Like I've had this 8 amp hour on my leaf blower here for, I don't know, 3 weeks, and I haven't had to charge it or change it. So, for something like that, was I getting by with my little batteries? Yeah, sure, I was getting by, but it was pretty much every use. You have to make sure you get them back on the charger so they're ready for you next time around. With these larger amp hour batteries, it's nice because you can get a few uses if you're just doing small jobs before you have to worry about getting them on the charger. Of course, that would be the case with any other batteries too that are this capacity, but it's just something that I hadn't experienced. So it was nice to try that out, especially with, like I said, some of these bigger tools where, like, on the chainsaw, one of these little batteries, like 10 minutes and it's burn up. So having the extra time is really, really good. So, let's talk about price here real quick. And I'm just going to pull my phone up and we'll just kind of look at their website here. And so you can buy a battery with an adapter for about $70. So that would be like this setup here. And I think, and then each adapter after that is about 16 bucks or so. So I think if you have all of one tool, right, I'm not sure this is a fantastic value for you. I mean, if you go look on Amazon or whatever, there's options for cheaper batteries, where you can buy 2 4 amps for like 40 bucks. Now, quality-wise and longevity, I can't account for that because I've only had these in my possession for, a couple of months here. But from what I can tell, everything works as it should. So it's really more about, do you need that adaptive system? Would that be beneficial to you, where you could buy for 60 bucks just a whole bunch of these bases and then buy whatever adapter tops you need so you have the flexibility to swap those out? I think that's really where these come into play and where the value is. Their regular battery here, I think it's it's a little more expensive than the cheapest stuff on the market. So their 8 amp hour batteries go anywhere from about 50 bucks. Seems to be kind of the standard price for these, but so and then there's 2 cells and 4 cells. So these are about 50 bucks a piece. So I feel like these are a reasonably good value here. These guys, and it does have a little interesting, like it's got a flashlight on it, so I mean it does a little bit more than a regular battery. So and again, I was quite pleased with this. You got a little indicator there. So I don't have any complaints about these batteries as far as their functionality. I think they're a good product. I've seen nothing out of them that would tell me that they're not a safe buy for you if you're looking to expand your battery collection for your power tools. The only thing that I wish was different is I wish that it always worked with your other charger. So you didn't have to use USB-C. Again, sometimes it worked with the Black & Decker charger, sometimes it didn't. When I reached out to them about this, they said it's not really set up to be able to use the manufacturer chargers. Like, it's set up to charge USB-C. So that's just the one thing to keep in mind with any of this. But in general, I think it's an interesting product. I'm happy to have it in my stable here. So I have a couple of larger capacity batteries. I think if any of this sounds like something that might be interesting to you, like I said, with the couple of months that I've been using these, I've experienced no issues with it. So I think I can give it a solid recommendation. So CEENR, if that's how you say your name, thanks for sending this out to me. Thanks to you guys for watching. Let me know if you want to see some more videos like this. I actually, I've got over there a little CNC machine that I've been playing with. So I'm thinking about doing a review of that too. And then, I do, as a recent switch to industrial tech for my teaching, I do a lot of DIY stuff and potentially I'm working with a lot of tools and things like that. So if you're interested in more reviews like these, let me know. If you feel like it's way off base and you're not interested at all, feel free to drop that down below too. I will let you know, just considering experimenting a little bit more with the YouTube channel here. You can also see in my garage over there, ignore the mess, but I'm also kind of a golf fanatic. So, are you a golfer? Drop that down below too. And maybe I'll review some golf stuff as well and just do some different things here this summer. I might experiment a little bit. So, appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great week. Well, hopefully we'll see you in the next one.